Have you ever picked up your camera and disaster? Autofocus not working, blurry photos, maybe your images were too dark, maybe your camera even refuses to take a photo at all. Now these are actually common problems, they can be easily solved, so I'm going to walk you through 5 common camera issues and how to fix them. Welcome to the Photo Genius channel. Hi, Paul here from Photo Genius Brisbane with more photography and camera tips to help you take better photos. Now in this week's video I've identified 5 common camera problems that as a beginner can be really annoying and frustrating but are actually really easy to fix. So let's get into it. So let's begin with a common complaint I often hear, particularly from beginners. Occasionally my camera will not let me take a photo. Now the reason for this is almost always focus related. Now if you're using autofocus, you will see that most cameras won't let you take a picture unless your camera has been unable to focus. And there's 3 reasons why this may happen. Let's take a look at them. Okay, number 1, are you too close? Every lens has a limit on how close you can be to a subject and still be able to focus. For example, on this lens, the limit is 0.2 meters. Any closer, it won't focus, and you've guessed it, the camera will then not allow me to take a picture. Typically the minimum focusing distance is shown on the lens. Now the distance will vary lens to lens, and don't be fooled if you see a flower symbol or even the word macro on the lens. This doesn't necessarily mean the lens is a macro. Now bonus tip, generally the longer the lens the further back you need to be. Now number 2, the subject lacks contrast. Now most cameras use what is called contrast detect autofocus. Now this means that the focus system needs to be able to see visible contrast between light and dark areas. So here, whilst I'm happy with the composition, the camera will not take a picture. The problem is that the camera cannot focus on the overcast sky because it lacks contrast. So I simply move the focus point to the subject and problem solved. Now here, whilst the focus point is clearly on the subject is too dark and we need to find contrast in light. Selecting an alternative focus point on the edge of the subject, and as you can see the camera is now able to focus and allow me to take a photo. Now the 3rd reason why your camera may not be able to focus is simply that it may be too dark. When taking photos at night, try to find a light source such as a street light or a building that has lit signage or maybe windows with lights in. Of course this may not always be possible, so in that case you may want to consider manual focus. This is often the preferred way of focusing for astrophotographers. Manual focus can be selected using the switch on the side of the lens, but if your lens doesn't have the switch, then check the camera body first. If not, then select manual focus via the camera. Once done, all you need to do is adjust the focus ring on the lens, not to be confused with the zoom ring. Now for more info on manual focusing, take a look at this video next. There'll be a link at the end of this video, or if you can't wait, you'll find it in the video description down below. Now whilst focusing can cause an image to be blurry, a more common reason is simply camera shake. Now this is a result of not holding the camera steady when taking a photo and using a slow shutter speed. The easy fix is to raise the camera shutter speed. But of course if you're a beginner and you don't know what shutter speed means or how to adjust it, then simply me telling you to increase or raise the shutter speed isn't really helping you. So let's start with the basics. Inside your camera is a shutter, it's behind the lens. Now when you press the shutter button down, the shutter opens to allow the camera to record light, and then the shutter closes. Now shutter speed is the common term relating to how long the shutter is open for. Now we typically use a fast shutter speed when taking photos in good light and a slower shutter speed when there is less light. For example, this image was shot in the middle of the day in good light. The shutter was 1/1000th of a second, which is very fast. This next one using a shutter speed of 1/800th of a second, again a fast shutter speed. Now with the shutter opening and closing so quickly, hand holding the camera, even if your hands aren't very steady, is just fine. Now take a look at this image of our dog, or how about this cat? Both of these images were taken indoors where there was less light, so the camera shutter needed to open longer to allow the camera more time to record enough light. This is often called slowing the shutter down. For both of these images, a shutter speed of 1/80th of a second, which is a slower shutter speed. Now, had I gone much slower than that, it would be likely that my images would be blurry, as the camera is more likely to record my hand movements the longer the shutter is open. Now, how about this image? Clearly taken at night, the shutter speed here is very slow at 30 seconds. This is called a long exposure. Now, I challenge anyone to handhold a camera and take a picture at a shutter speed that slow and get a sharp image. So of course, instead of hand holding the camera, I used a tripod. So to avoid blurry images, your options are to either use a tripod or simply to increase the shutter speed. But by how much? Well, if you're using a standard lens, then a good rule of thumb is to go no slower than 1/60th of a second. A higher or faster shutter speed is just fine, in fact recommended. Now, if you are using a longer telephoto lens, then you will need to increase the shutter speed even more. And this is because longer lenses exaggerate your movements. Adjusting the shutter speed can be done when the camera is in the shutter priority or manual mode, and this is done by turning the dial on the camera. For more on this topic, I highly recommend taking a look at this video next. Link below for more details. Now, if you find your images are consistently too bright or too dark, then it might be that you need to reset exposure compensation. This is a feature that is available when using the camera in either the program, aperture priority or shutter priority modes. Now, when using these modes, you should be able to see the camera's light meter, which ideally should be reading 0. Now, if it isn't, then it means you've adjusted the exposure compensation, and that's possibly without even realizing it. To adjust, look for the exposure compensation button on the camera. Now, this may be on the back or the top of the camera. Hold it down and turn the camera dial to adjust. Now, some cameras like the Fujifilm X series cameras or Nikon ZF and ZF-C do have dedicated exposure compensation dials. Now, of course, you've guessed it, I've made a separate video all about exposure compensation. If you want to see that one next, link below. Now, if you press the playback button on the back of the camera and instead of seeing the image, you see lots of tiny thumbnails, then simply use the zoom out button to resize. If you've got a camera that has a touch screen, then you can just pinch to zoom in or out, just like you would on a smartphone. Zooming in is a great way of checking to see if your image you've captured is sharp and in focus. But did you know that you can also use the info or display button on the back of the camera to show you the camera settings that you used when you took the picture? Now, a quick bonus tip if you're using a mirrorless camera. Did you know that when playing back your images, you can view them through the viewfinder as well as the screen? Now, this is particularly good if you're outside and it's a bright day, because it can be really hard sometimes to see what's on the screen. Put the camera up to your eye, look through the viewfinder, press playback, problem solved. Now, on the top of your camera there's a dial, and you can use this to select different camera modes. So not surprisingly, this is called the mode dial. Now, the options will vary depending on the camera, but with the exception of professional cameras, you should see an auto mode, usually marked green, A icon or something similar. This is the factory default setting. In this mode, the camera does all the work for you. You cannot change the camera settings, you literally just point and shoot. Now, it's the creative modes that will allow you to have more control over the camera settings, and these include manual, shutter priority, aperture priority and program. Now, when I'm running workshops here in Brisbane, I encourage my students to give manual a go, because that way they get to learn all about shutter speed, aperture and ISO, what we often refer to as the exposure triangle. But I do believe that you should never feel pressurized to shoot only in the manual mode. Choose the mode that suits you, your style of photography and the subject you are photographing. For example, shutter priority is popular with sports and wildlife photographers, whilst aperture priority is great for portraiture. And if you're very new to all this, then why not start with the program mode? Here's where the camera will do most of the work for you, but you can adjust exposure compensation, focus settings and more. It's a really great beginner's mode, and it's a step up from auto. Remember, the best camera mode is the one that gets you the shot. For more on the different camera modes, consider watching this video next. So there you go, 5 common camera problems and how to fix them. If you found these tips helpful, then please let me know in the comments below, or just give this video a like. It helps the video get noticed. For more no-nonsense photography tips and tutorials, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you find yourself visiting Brisbane or you live in Brisbane, check out my courses at photogenius.com.au. Until next time, keep shooting, keep learning, and thanks for watching. See ya.